Hi, I'm Dana with Diggin In with Dana, and I'm here today with some people that I just met recently. We have Chris Dallas and Todd Uzzell.
That's right.
I said it right. I'm so surprised. From VanDyke Mortgage. And we're just going to sit, we're going to visit and see what you guys have to say today and what's going on in your world, because I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person until today. So we got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
So Todd, tell me a little bit about you and what you do, how long you've been in the business, all that good stuff.
Well, let's see. I'm originally from Texas and came out here in 2000. I was playing minor league baseball, so spring training was here, and met my wife, had some kids, and 20 years later we're here. But started in mortgage in 2016.
Okay.
And yeah, so I've been through a couple of the waves, if you will, a couple of refi booms, and now we're in this interesting inventory situation. So I think every time you hit those peaks and valleys, you learn something, and it's exciting, and I really enjoy the business.
Cool. So back to baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were gonna play like the big leagues, or
well,
what was your plan back then?
Gosh, just to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played in college, and after college, you either get drafted or selected by one of the pro teams to play in the minor league system, and then that's like there's minor leagues, there's 3 levels of minor leagues, and then there's the major leagues, and so yeah, ideally you make the major leagues, but a lot of us don't, and I didn't. Played for 4 years.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, a lot of baseball, met a lot of cool people, and it's a fun sport.
So you did spring training out here, and that's how you fell in love with Arizona and then decided to move here?
Sort of.
Oh.
No.
You weren't here in the summer, apparently.
Oh, no. I'm from Texas, so it's hot there,
yeah,
right?
It is.
No, like I said, I met my wife at the time. We had 2 kids, and her whole family is here, so my kids are here.
Okay.
And they're now 17 and 18, and but yeah, Arizona's great. No complaints.
You undersell, though. You were drafted twice for baseball.
Thrice.
Thrice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was a good pitcher.
Oh, and a pitcher to boot. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not bragging on yourself. That's
no. I'm here. I'm not on TV. So.
And you still hold the school record for
hit batters, I think, for New Mexico State. Yeah. If you can't strike them out, you hit them.
Yeah. Wow, that's exciting. You got quite the history.
It's interesting. Thank you.
That's nice. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm not as interesting as Todd is. So I've been in the mortgage business for 34 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I've done loans for kids and grandkids of past customers.
Yeah.
And moved here. I'm originally from Ohio, born and raised, was there for 54 years, then moved here just under 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And our children live out here. We have 2 boys. Our youngest lives in Santan Valley, and our oldest just moved from Buckeye to Dallas-Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
He got a job promotion with Right Now Sports.
Wow.
And we live in Queen Creek, and that's really it. I don't have like a professional sports career I came from or anything. And yes, AA baseball is professional, Todd.
It is.
It is. I'm glad you shared that about him, because I have a feeling he wouldn't have. Very humble, huh?
I don't know. I don't talk about my past very often.
Yeah.
I am not. It's not a secret. I don't know. I'm always looking that way, and bad habit.
So when you're looking that way, what are you doing these days then?
Well, like I told you earlier, I started working with Chris a couple of years ago, and he's been in the business a long time. He's a great mentor, and just kind of helps me put what we're doing in perspective. And I think when this industry has times like these, it makes you kind of go back to the basics and talking to people and doing more things that you're supposed to do in our business. Just making friends and doing good business, educating clients.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just continuing to learn, get better at your job, and that's what we focus on. We work together, obviously, but we meet once a week and just talk about where we're at, where we want to go, and what new things are coming down the pike.
Yeah. So you guys work, like you said, as a team?
We're in the same branch, so
okay.
I don't know what your title is now, but it's there. So.
What is your title, Chris?
Currently Senior Vice President.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And it's nice because, like he talked about the mentoring and so forth, we're in two different parts of our careers.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing, but talking about how we can do it better based on the things we can't control, right? We can't control interest rates, we can't control inventory. All we can do is really look at if someone is wanting to buy a home or looking how they can improve their personal position from an equity, long-term saving standpoint, that we work together to provide as much information as we can for them. Because it's such a unique, and you know it, you've been in the business, we're in such a unique period right now that, you know, everybody says, well, you know, I've worked in periods like this. I've never worked in a period quite like this with the supply the way it is, the rates the way they are, the Fed moving the way they are, inflation where it is, you know, all at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it's actually probably the top 3 of my 35 years, best time for someone to buy a house, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because
of all those variables that come into it.
Right.
And I don't think enough people talk about that. They talk about all the negative out there. But we had a situation with a first-time buyer last week that was looking at how can they, and they just want to own a home, right? They know that they pay this amount for rent and they want to pay this amount for a mortgage. So we structured some different conversations with them based on that number one item of my budget. How can I maximize? I have 5 kids, all young, you know, they even have a little baby, and how can we do that with this budget? So we looked at different options, and the best option was if you can get the seller to pay your closing costs and some points, you can get a rate in the low 5s, which increases your buying power. And at first blush in the market, it's like, well, why would a seller want to do that? Or a buyer, I would rather pay less for the house. Why would I want to, quote, pay more than I should because the seller's participating? And we looked at it, if they would have paid $20,000 less for the house and just went with the traditional rate at about 6 3/4, which is about the market today, or they have the seller pay $20,000 toward closing cost points, etc., and they get their rate down to 5 1/4, the payment was lower, paying more by $200. Mm-hmm. And it's just a weird situation we have because traditionally, if you pay a point towards your rate, you save about 1/4%. So it's, you know, in over history.
Yeah.
Today, if you pay 3 points, you can save 1.5%, which is, I've never seen that before. That's what I mean, just one of those variables that are out there. And for sellers, it's, well, I just know what I'm netting out. So if it's going to appraise for this, the house is worth it, and it helps me sell the home quicker, why not do it?
Yeah.
And it ended up, and it was a great conversation for them and the agents because we all participated in it, because history tells us we'll just pay less and it's better for everybody. And it was a real learning opportunity for everybody. And that's the thing that keeps me so excited about this business. It's just all these challenges makes it fun.
Right. And I think in this business in particular, this past year has been a learning experience for everybody and all parties that are involved, because I feel like every deal is a different circumstance right now. Any deal that's coming through has a different story, you know? And before, when they were the same kind of loans, the same this, the same that, everything was just
transactions.
Yeah, transactions. And now it's like these are actually like stories that you guys are actually helping people get in homes that could have never probably done that a couple years ago. But now, because things are the way they are, I think it's changed.
It's true, and you know, it benefits all of us. So I mean, it benefits the title person, the realtor, and obviously the loan officer. Because once you see a deal that can be set up a certain way, then now you have options, and you're not telling the people no. Because like our saying is, we just want to say yes, you know. And that's one of the benefits to the VanDyke setup is like we don't have any overlays. We're straight to guidelines. And if from a loan officer's perspective, if we need a program, like they'll get it.
Yeah.
And we service most of our loans, so there's just a lot of upsides to how the business is set up to let us do more business.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, it allows more people the opportunity to own a home.
Absolutely.
And like you talked about, so different a couple years ago is transactions. And one of the things, and we even talked to this couple, is, well, I think rates are going to go down. I'm going to wait. Well, you realize with the inventory the way it is, if rates drop even 0.75%, we're going to be really quickly back into what we saw 2 years ago of, well, how much are you going to give me over what I want for the house?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all the investors come back in, and the cash buyers from California and all these different markets that want to live in arguably one of the greatest cities in the country right now. But for right now, their benefit is they had the position of power. And this couple that we are talking about, live situation, would never have been able to pay $5,000 over offer, let alone 20 or 30 like we were
Right,
seeing.
right.
So that's why I think it's such a great opportunity right now. And like you said, it's helping people. You know, you buy the house, get the home you love, and then you date the rate. Because you can
Yeah.
always refinance and get a new rate, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll marry the house,
Yeah.
date the rate.
Yeah, that's so true.
Mhm.
That's so true. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing a great job of educating people, realtors as well as buyers.
Absolutely.
And I just see that's a great thing that you guys are doing. So anything special that you guys can maybe promote or something to people that might want to be in that situation?
Well, like I told you earlier, we have the ability to write manual loans, which most lenders.
Explain what that is.
I'm getting there, yeah.
Yeah.
All lenders use what they call an automated underwriting system. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have made a system that we all use, and it basically says if you fit these guidelines, then you're kind of pre-approved. Still underwriter has to look at it, but it's
You're
the
just
basics.
pushing some numbers in, and it's telling you.
Yeah, exactly
okay,
right. If
Okay.
the numbers make sense, and we can support it with documentation, you're good.
Yeah.
Manual underwrite is when they don't all fit that box, and a lot of lenders won't manual underwrite either because their underwriters don't have the qualifications to do it, or they don't want to deal with that business. There's probably various reasons they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But VanDyke will, USDA, FHA. So the bottom line is we want to do loans,
Yeah.
and from that perspective, manual underwrite it's gold for the client, because we may do 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
But those people may be the ones that really needed the house.
Right.
So, yeah,
Right.
that's exciting. We also deal in down payment assistance. We have a handful of products that we can use for that. We're in 48 states. Yeah. So it's in this climate, in this type of market, you can go to a seller and say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, give me some closing costs," and get into a house for a couple grand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
unheard of.
Yeah, it is.
And for first timers especially, getting that first house, it's probably life changing.
Yeah.
I heard on one of the MBS Highway, I think it was this morning, they were saying homeowners over time have a 40 times greater net worth than renters. I mean, who knew, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but if you can buy and sell a house twice, you're netting equity.
Yeah.
You're getting chunks of money,
Yeah.
and chunks are different than every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
And you guys are working with renters as well, correct?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're working with renters, getting them set up, getting them in a plan to move forward, because I don't think people realize that the average rent right now is $2,500 a
oh
month.
yeah,
That's a house payment can be
Yep.
way less.
it could be.
So, if you're talking to renters and setting them up, that's a great thing to be doing right now.
Well, go ahead.
I like what I call the share equity plan. In real life situations, our youngest son. Our youngest son played hockey in college, graduated, he was working at Lululemon retail stores. He was making $48,000 a year. And this was prior to the COVID explosion. So he really was, because of being raised in our house, I don't want to go rent, I want to own. Well, you have $48,000 a year to work with, what are we going to do here? So he had a conversation, and actually I did with him and his best friend, who he's known since kindergarten. All through school they were best friends. And we talked about if they individually went and got their place, or if they just went together and paid rent for a apartment in the greater Phoenix area, what it would cost, and what would a house payment cost. And they both had full-time jobs. They both had reasonable credit expectations that would fit for us. So we jointly sat down and said, you realize instead of renting together, if you bought together, you would have an opportunity to earn some equity that you put in a written agreement up front, 50% your, 50% mine, and you can build wealth yourself or start to at the time they were 22, 23.
Yeah.
So they made a decision to do it. We fast forward, they closed on their loan. It was a brand new home in Santan that closed in December of 2020. And then his co-mortgager's father passed away suddenly. So he made a decision, I really need to go back to Ohio because my mom's, just wants us there.
Yeah.
Totally understand. So they made a decision to sell the house. Now this is because of a unique circumstance. They purchased the house for, I think it was $319,000, which because of their combined incomes, they could do that. And their payment at the time, I think, was $2,100. So they had a third person move in with them, so they were paying like $700 each to live there. It was a great plan that they put together. So when they sold the house, they both netted out $80,000 in cash.
Oh, wow.
Now that was a COVID kind of bubble that we had.
Yeah.
But it tied to that when I talk to younger people today, say, well, I don't think I can ever own a home. Were you going to rent with your best friend? Yeah. Well, think about this shared equity plan that we talked about.
Yeah.
And it has to be a good relationship. You have
Yeah.
to really understand what you're getting into and agree to certain parameters. But I think that's another opportunity for people in today's market to have a chance to gain some wealth going forward. Because the longer they rent, we all used to say, well, you're just paying the landlord's equity, right?
Yeah.
And so those are the type of things we like to educate on. And, we can, like the no overlays. I used to work for Washington Mutual years ago. We had a tagline, the power of yes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's trademarked, so I'm going to call it the Zen of yes. But we just want customers call and say, I'm looking at a single wide as a second home out in the country. Can you finance that? Absolutely, we can. I'm looking to build a house. We can do that. I'm looking at a jumbo. I need a really good rate. We can do that. We work with Citi, which right now has the best rates in jumbo for correspondent lending. We just want to be able to say yes to all these different circumstances because everyone says we have no overlays, companies. I always ask them two things. Can you close a single wide and sell it to Fannie Mae or FHA and not have to worry about a broker? And can you do a 502 credit score with FHA? And if they answer yes to both those, okay, they don't have overlays. But they always usually say, oh, no, we don't do single wides. Well,
Yeah.
we do because we have no overlays.
No overlays.
Straight agency. And I think it gives us an opportunity, especially for agents, to not have to worry about, well, I have to call Joe, Mary, Fran, 8 different people for 8 different types, investors, et cetera, when we can just be a one-stop information stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And then you can do all kinds of loans. And so all demographics should reach out to you, correct?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Right.
like you said, USDA, even the outskirts of town,
Yep.
all directions, West Valley and East Valley, because all that is a lot of that is USDA, correct?
Yeah, as you get in the Phoenix area, you see more of it in Coolidge, Arizona City, Eloy.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones on the southeast side.
Yeah.
And gosh, I think you have to go outside of Tonopah to get to it on the west
Yeah.
side. Does that
Yeah.
sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they a few years ago
They
you could
changed,
do Casa Grande
yeah.
and so
Oh, yeah.
forth, and they changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but all over the state. I mean, you go like by Kingman, Golden Valley. That's a pretty popular one. That's outside of Havasu.
Yeah. And you guys can do stuff
Absolutely.
all
yep.
areas.
All over the place. Parker has USDA. I mean, USDA is not the pitch, but it's a hell of a program. I
Yeah.
mean, no money down.
Yeah.
No mortgage insurance.
Sure
Yeah,
is.
it's
And
nice.
a lot of those outlying areas, people don't realize, that they do have that opportunity to look into it at least.
Yep.
And you guys will get them fit in the correct loan that's going to match what their needs are. So,
Yeah, totally.
you're going to work with the buyers and help them make the right decisions.
Yeah,
Well,
that's our job is to provide as much information as possible.
Yeah.
So they're comfortable with the decision they choose to make.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of
Right.
folks, when we talk to them initially, they're like, I don't want to get my credit pulled, it's going to mess up my score. Well, we have the ability to do a soft pull, and we can soft pull all 3 bureaus, meaning that we can see what we would see on a hard pull, but it doesn't affect, there's no inquiry on their credit report.
Right.
So there's a lot of credit analysis that happens on the front end just to get them prepared. And I'm like, dude, if you don't even buy a house, like, get your credit in order, because you want to buy cars and have credit cards and get good rates.
Yeah.
Like, it'll change your life. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
it's a
guys
good time.
doing a good job. Doing
Thank
a good
you.
job, doing good things out there.
We
you
can
know?
do ranches too if you know any bull riders looking
Oh,
to buy ranches.
always do. Always. That's awesome. Yeah, and so is it just Arizona you guys could do, or are you national? I don't think I asked that.
We're national.
You are
Yeah.
national.
So
yeah.
we're a what I would call a medium-sized independent mortgage banker. So we have all of our agency approvals and designations.
Oh, okay.
So we can do Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, which is FHA, VA, USDA, but we also service a vast majority of our own loans.
Okay.
So we are truly a in-house, what we call long-term relationship with the borrower. So we can do things like, let's say they purchase the home, they close, they're a year down the road, and something in their life changes where they sell a car or whatever, and they have $20,000 and they want to put it down on their loan. We can actually recast the mortgage. So what we'll do is we'll take that $20,000, redo their loan so their payment is reduced,
Yeah.
and then continue it on our books. And that's something a lot of servicers, they don't want to do or they don't want to talk about. And we openly discuss that with our borrowers, that it's not something where you just have to simply refinance your loan if you want to change terms, that you can reduce your payment different ways. So that's the benefit, I think, with us of having the control of the entire relationship, even post-closing with servicing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So are you guys looking for new agents to work with always?
Always, yeah.
Always growing your
Always.
book of business? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
So how would I tell people to reach you? Like,
I mean, I'm all over social media.
Are you?
So
I was
that's
gonna
an,
say,
that's an
yeah.
easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you,
ToddUzzell.com.
yeah. If you Google my name, it'll come up. You'll get some dude
Okay.
in San Diego and me and some baseball stuff and my number. So
okay.
yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah, 480-330-1724.
Okay.
It's been that way for about 20 years. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to work with listing agents, helping them, get their listings some more visibility, and
Yeah.
tinkering with some YouTube shorts, and there's so many neat things we can do with video, and you don't have to be professional videographer. You
Yeah.
don't have to do it for very long, 10 or 15 seconds, and
Yeah.
that's enough for people to consume the information that you're trying to give them. So
Right.
it's a very interesting time in the social media side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
loan officers out there that are saying, well, I can't do all that. We'll talk to them as well.
Yeah.
See if they're a good fit for our culture and who we are.
Yeah. There you go. Always like recruiting too,
Mm-hmm.
because you need good players on the team, right?
Absolutely.
The right
Yeah.
players.
The
Yeah.
right
The right
players.
players.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Thank you guys for coming on with me today.
No, thank you, Dana.
It's awesome to get to know you a little bit, get to know a little bit about what you do, and I sure hope we can help you, generate some more business and stuff, because renters especially need to know that there are options out there, and you guys are doing a great thing by contacting them. So if I know anybody that sees this, if you're a renter and you need to get out of being a renter, you need to hook up with these guys, and hopefully that will help you guys.
Thanks a lot, Dana.
The
Thank
best time
you.
to buy is now.
Yes, best time. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, Dana.
And I'm Dana. We'll see you next time. Thanks.